that I am. I am, I am, I am. I am that I am. I am, I am, I am. I am that I am. I am, I am, I am. I am that I am. I am, I am, I am. So man and man must reason. So I think it's prime time that we address some more issues. Simple information I will use. No rocket science to get you confused. So relax your mind, make sure everything is fine while I take you down a poetic line. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've worked it in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause it sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the blame. But you trick us with campaign promises, we won't say at ease. That's the way it is. We've worked it in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Yellow, yellow all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house get yellow, bus get yellow, man get yellow, even green get yellow, and so says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've worked it in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Old school parables say you know what you have, but you don't know what you go get. So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah. So the green grass ceased to grow to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song I sing, one bell I ring. If we didn't know, we'd never know yellow would have treated us so. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've worked it in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. They began with the blame game, giving NNP more fame. Past administration, the cause of frustration. Past administration, chief of corruption. Then to economic recession, we can't give you attention. Economic recession, the cause of poverty in the land. Economic recession, no employment for the ordinary man. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited.
And good evening to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott. I'll be with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. Now, 4 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock on the Spice Isle of Grenada. Our very first program for the year 2023. Yeah, I hope that you all had a wonderful Christmas season, that everything went all well and okay for each and every one of you, that you know that you get your heart's content for the Christmas and for the new year.
I am that I am. I am, I am, I am.
I'd like to say a special good night to all of you joining us via the various mediums. Those of you on the Talking Points Facebook page, those of you on the Talking Points YouTube page, those of you joining us via the Talking Points website.
There is a time for everything.
Remember, folks, tell a friend to tell a friend. Talking Points is on.
Man must reason.
And we're going to get into it in a short while, just letting the audience build, yeah?
Issues. Simple information I will use. No rocket science to get you confused. So relax your mind, make sure everything is fine while I take you down a poetic line. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've worked it in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause it sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the blame. But you trick us.
Yeah, we know it's been a while, huh?
We won't say at ease. That's the way it is.
But Talking Points is on.
you lose the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Yellow, yellow, all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house get yellow, bus get yellow, man get yellow, even green get yellow, and so says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay your tease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you lose the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Old school parables say you know what you have, but you don't know what you go get. So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah. So the green grass ceased to grow to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song I sing, one bell I ring. If we didn't know, we never know yellow would treat us so. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay a tease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you lose the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. They began with the blame game, giving NNP more fame. Past administration, the cause of frustration. Past administration, chief of...
And folks, remember to like and subscribe the page.
Your attention. Economic recession.
Yeah, we got to get our numbers up. And a happy new year to each and every one of you once again.
Economic recession, no impact.
I'm seeing Jakeem, Sherma, Cynthia, Errol, Devon. I'm seeing all of you there. Over on the YouTube page. Matthew Bowen, good night to you. No, Matthew, I did not get any gift box with any glasses man in it. No.
How is the country going? Oh, fine. We are looking into it.
And Andrews, good night to you.
Only projects in pipeline. No water to cool down the yellow temperature. When will they start? Please answer that. Oh, so.
And over on the Facebook page, Gil, Carl, Linda, Imelda, Francois, Maria, Ibrahim, a good night to all of you. Dwight, Norma, Kenneth, a good night to all of you. Remember to like and share the live. It's our first program for the year 2023. Our first program for the month of January. And this is the 49th year of Grenada's independence. In a few weeks, we'll be celebrating the 49th anniversary of Grenada's independence. Yeah, we always have to remember Uncle Gary and the fact that he ensured that Grenada got independence. Some people may have a different view, but I mean, as I say, historically,
they're sucking money like water in foam and rehire the Imanis.
Good night to you, Mommy George, Miss Irma Jacob, Miss Noriega, good night to you as well. Martin and Miss V, special good night to both of you.
That's the way it is. We've waited.
Mr. and Mrs. Crookshank, good night. Camille Teresa Scott, good day to you and good night to you once again.
Division, but some can digest that one. Remember the man say
Mr. Kenneth Watts.
And will we vote?
Patricia and Matthew out there in Canada.
Alone. Maybe they're cloned. And however,
Zingo, Kathy, AC Major, out there in Brooklyn. My North Carolina posse, good night to you. Those of you out there in Texas, good night.
Grenada, I need some food.
The African squad, good night to you all.
Campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll lose the strain, but you now refrain. You now
Oliver and Evelyn, Antonio, good night. Janet, good night.
plan for Jonah to restore Nineveh.
Come on, let me see the numbers going up more before we get into the conversation, yeah?
Some doubt, so I'm running up my mouth.
I know the figure I'm looking for before I start the conversation.
The teacher and some
We have a lot of things to talk about, you know. I've been out for a few days well. And as you realize, the voice isn't 100% still, eh? It's a little problem I've been having with the throat.
and brand new car on the scene. While our
But we're doing it. Yeah, we're doing it.
trick us
We cut in and go through tonight. And we have a lot to cut and go through. And folks, the phone lines are open for the entire program. You can call at any point in time. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101.
that finger
We had to talk about what's been taking place on the Sister Isles of Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
and from the mouth of Grenada.
We had to talk about what's been going on here on the mainland.
Neglect us, the Congress failed.
We had to talk about some international and regional things that are affecting us here in Grenada.
Your bush home if you want good health. And for real, we are
And folks, over the next couple weeks and so, we will be having several guests coming on with us. Not necessarily in studio, because it's 2023. We could do the thing via YouTube, and we could do it via Zoom, and we could do it via WhatsApp and different things. So we don't necessarily need them to come down into the studio with us, but we'll be having various guests. I'll announce now that we will be having political leader of the New National Party, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, former Prime Minister. Yeah, Prime Minister of Grenada for 28 years? Yeah, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Claudius Mitchell, the most successful politician regionally. And he will be on with us. We'll be giving you more information. You'll know the exact day and so on.
By the Almighty, this poem may not be liked by you, but I know you will like this poem for this.
Williams Anthony, Phyllis Ramsey, and Lyndon Stanislaus. Good night to you all. Hey, my Jamaican squad them. Yeah, man. Lyndon. Yeah, it was interesting. Over this weekend, I was seeing some posts by various people, and I was seeing information by various people. And let me say this, I keep hearing this talk from the NDC about boots on the ground, and boots on the ground, boots on the ground. Yeah, boots on the ground right before they kick you in the rear with it. Because that is what they have been doing to the poor and vulnerable of Grenada. That is what they've been doing to the workers of Grenada. In fact, they have only been enriching themselves and their friends. And I make no apologies for saying that, because that is exactly what the National Democratic Congress have been doing, enriching themselves and their friends. All of the moves that you see them doing, and they're saying that they're doing this to poor people. Let's take an example. They say that they reduced freight on the port back to the 2019 rate. Has that lowered the price of foodstuff for you? Have you been able to go into the supermarket? Yeah? You just shopped for the Christmas season. Were you able to get foodstuff at a lower price? Or did you realize that things have been a lot higher than they were just a few months ago? This time last year and now, when you see the price of the foodstuff, in some instances, it's gone up by a clear $10. It may even have instances of more than that. Even before the measures placed in the 2023 budget, which was finalized towards the end of December, took place, you had various places raising the price of sugar. All over, you know it. You know what I'm saying is true. You've been out there, you've been buying, you've been interacting and so on. So you know that what I'm saying is the gospel truth. So they raised the price then, and then as the measures take effect, you're going to see the prices raise even more. And all associated goods and products, the price of that will also be going up. You're seeing an escalation taking place in Ukraine right now. But you're not hearing this government speaking about what measures they're putting in place to protect and preserve the Grenadian people. And you're saying, some people may say, well, that's over in Ukraine. Why are you telling us about Ukraine? Yes, because Ukraine is one of the world's largest producers of wheat. So is Russia. So is China, where incidentally there's a serious breakout of COVID again in China. So it means less and less wheat will be available on the world market, which means the little bit that's available, the price is going to be high. Why do you think diamonds are so expensive? Because they have so little of them on the market. Not little of them around, little of them on the market, so that the price is made high. If you want to get one, you have to pay what they ask for it. And it's the same thing that's taking place with things like wheat and so on right now. You're seeing a situation where the war has escalated again. It's moved forward again. It's coming on a year now, what's taking place between Russia and Ukraine. And it is affecting us here in the price of baked goods. You're going to see rises this year in the price of flour. I haven't heard the government mention any measures to try and protect the average consumer, you and me, who have to buy a little bread. Whether it's wheat flour, whether it's plain flour, whether it's what. You have not heard them mentioning, hey, we're going to do this or we're going to do that, to try and ensure that they get the price down for you, the average Grenadian. Yeah? So you're going to see an increase again in the price of baked products. You're You're going to see an increase in the price of beer because they make beer using barley and wheat and these things and malt, and so they make them using these products. So you're going to see an increase. And in fact, I was speaking to one person today and they were already saying that the price of some of the products are higher already. And it's going to get even higher than it is. Gone are the days with the 3 for 10, you know. You ain't seen that. We ain't seen no 3 for 10. Not in a very, very long time we ain't seen this thing called 3 for 10 again. If we ever see it again. Yeah, remember the days at 3 for 10? You go and you pay $10 and you get 3 beers? Yeah, we're finding that now. But the prices are going to continue to increase. So what you used to pay $5 for, you're going to pay $6. After a while, by the end of the year, you might be paying $7. So we're seeing the increases that are taking place when it comes to these products. Right? And some people will say, well, I don't drink alcohol, I don't drink beer. Yes, but you eat bread. Or you eat baked products. And it's similar. The same thing that they use to make the bread is the same things they're using to make the alcoholic beverages, the beers and so. And the malt. Even if you don't drink beer, you drink a malt. It's the same wheat and barley and so that they're using to make these things. So the prices of these things are going up. And you haven't heard the government have the foresight to say that they're keeping an eye on the international situation. And as such, they're trying to protect the Grenadian people. And these are the measures that they're putting in place. Instead, you're seeing your prime minister go and stand up in a place and dancing in money. That is what they're interested in doing. Meanwhile, our men and women of the Royal Grenada Police Force are still waiting to hear what is taking place with their pay and grade. They're still waiting to hear. And then you're coming to them with the Cockamani story. I would have said another word, but next thing Mark banned me. I don't want Mark to ban me. Right? The nonsense story about they can't find the Ernest and Young report. In 2022, they were telling you that, and they may still saying it in 2023. When all it takes from this incompetent bunch of people is a phone call to Ernest and Young office to say, hey, we need to get a copy of that. Or not even a phone call, a WhatsApp message, an email. Just contact them. There's so much different ways that you could contact people right now that there's no excuse except incompetence or lack of will to ensure that it's done to get the Ernest Young report for the members of the Royal Grenada Police Force. And I think the prisons have also been included in that grouping with the Ernest and Young report. Because they are afraid of what the report says. Because the report says that police officers of various ranks should be working for salaries much more than what they're working for right now. At least show them what the report says and then negotiate with the police and say, hey, we think that we would not be able to do this, but what we want is we're willing to meet you here. They say you all should be getting $1,500 more. We can't pay that right now, but what we promise to do is raise it by $500 now. And then we'll have discussions towards raising it by another $500 within this period of time and another $500 within that period of time, along with another assessment at that point in time. Because you have the basket of goods that you bought, your $100 basket of goods getting smaller and smaller until just now is only a chewing gum you go have inside your basket. That is what it's getting to. Before, you take $100 and you pick up a basket and you walk through the supermarket and so, you could have got a few things. You would not fill the basket, unless it was really years ago. But more and more you realize that the basket of goods that you're getting for the $100 coming down to nothing. I was shopping recently at one location. I won't say the place. I was shopping there. Picked up about 5 items. Nothing fancy or something. The basic items. Picked up 5. $88. $88. And hey, we know it's difficult for people outside of Grenada too. But people in Grenada voted for a government whose responsibility, we're not requesting, we're not begging, we're not asking. That's the responsibility of the government, is to look at these issues and find ways and means of addressing these issues. Yeah? Instead of that, they found that the most important things to look at was condom and lubricants. That is what they find was important to look at in that budget, isn't it? Yeah, that's what they find was important. Condom and lubricants, yeah.
To allow the yellow vibes to flow.
Remember, as I said, the phone lines are open 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Yeah, last year was the smoke. This year is more than fire, it's crematorium.
Promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain. But
they say they haven't cutting cost measures, but yet still the Prime Minister of Grenada goes to live in a separate compound when the people of Grenada, you and me, have provided a facility for the Prime Minister of Grenada to live in. Yeah? We pay for that on a monthly basis. The upkeep of that facility, all aspects of it. Yeah? You and me, we pay for that facility. Your Prime Minister has decided that no, he ain't staying there. That ain't good enough for him. Even if he says, well, we're going to do some refurbishment on it. Even if they say they're going to upgrade it. But no, that ain't good enough for me. And moves to a facility where you're now paying, and that's what I'm hearing, and I hope that the question comes through Parliament so we get a final answer on it. What I'm hearing is as much as $24,000 a month for the facility that the Prime Minister is living in now, which is not the official Prime Minister's residence. Meanwhile, you have the Prime Minister's residence sit down there, and they wouldn't even say, well, okay, well, I have my own residence. I could probably stay in one of my residences or so, that I wouldn't have to pay that amount of money. But instead, no. $24,000 a month. That's what I'm hearing. That's the allegation. Because it could be more. I ain't think for the facility that I know that there, I ain't think it could be less. But I'm hearing $24,000. And yet still, they say that they like everybody. They like people. But while they like people, you have people being sent home in Carriacou. Last week, imagine, you're working and you're looking forward to the new year. Over the Christmas season, you may have even gone and you got your material to sew your new outfit for the new work year, and you organize your stuff, and so you know that you have your little thing in Ariza. You know you might have your little thing in Grenville Credit Union. You know you might have your little thing in the different banks and so on. Yeah, that you're paying off on a monthly basis. And while you are preparing, and with full understanding that you have these things in train, you get a letter, the last working day of the year, that your services are no longer required. Don't come to work first working day for the next year. Now you could tell me that is people that care about people, that is human beings. That is something an animal would do. That is something an unfeeling object like a computer would do. But that is not something that a human being who believes in the Most High would do to another human being. You have an instance of one contractor. They didn't even have the common decency to phone the contractor. They didn't even have the decency to go in and see the contractor. Instead, what they did, they slip a letter under the contractor door late on Friday, so that when the contractor got home, he get this letter, your services are no longer required. So all the people that work along with that contractor, he had to be phoning them on the last working day of the year to tell these people, all you don't have a job again. People with multiple children that they send into school that have no salary at this point in time to send their children to school. People that don't know where their next meal is going to come from when the food that they have in the house run out. Or how they're going to face Grenlec, or how they're going to face Nawasa at the end of this month. Simply because these people want to play politics with people's lives. So they come to them and they say, all you have to go home. Coward. They go and they slip it under the door, you know. They didn't even have the decency to meet the man and say, well, okay, your contract has expired, or we're not going to renew your contract or anything, and give him enough time so he could tell people. So people might say, well, okay, I contact a family member, I know they're going to be able to help me out for a month or two, and I'm looking for a job or are going to start to do a little thing at home or something like that. Just today for today. So Friday evening, letter on the door. And then Saturday now, have to be calling to tell people, hey, you don't have a job. That song has people that like people. That song has people that like human beings. That song has people that care about people. That's the kind of behavior. When you see the things like what has been taking place in Carriacou, where the present PS has been running amok. Running amok. He said in home left, he said in home right. But don't worry, Judgment Day does always be coming. Judgment Day will be coming for both Tevin Andrews and Javon Williams up there in Carriacou. Judgment Day coming. And don't worry, St. Peter will be waiting at the gate. And you better hope that your name on the list to go in the right direction. Because what you all are doing to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique will not be forgotten. They have children, some of them who will be able to vote the next time around. Yeah? The same children that you all are depriving of an education now because you have pulled the financial stability that their parents have. Many of them will be able to vote the next time around. The same people that then Honorable Kindra Maturin Stewart gave houses to in Carriacou. And you all telling them now they have to reapply after they already get it. Don't worry. Judgment Day will be coming. And you better hope your name on the correct list to go the correct direction. Because that is high class wickedness. Meanwhile, driving around in the government vehicle and collecting a traveling allowance. When your political leader, Mr. Tevin Andrews, has said that that is wrong, but it seems as though he's unable to correct you. It seems as though maybe he's afraid of you. What, me a secret holding for him? So how come it is wrong for him, as the Prime Minister, who is provided vehicles to travel, to take in the $2,000, $24,000 increase that you all getting on a yearly basis? It's wrong for him to take it because he's provided transportation by the state. But you who are also using state transportation are collecting that money on a monthly basis. It is wrong. And now they can't shut me up. He wrong and he wrong. You ought not to be doing it. But then they want to say, oh, who is he to talk? And who is... I am the one to talk because I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Jump up. Boots on the ground. We promise and we deliver. We open school. What school? Tevin Andrews, what school? You know anything about that school? What school you build in Carriacou? Man, you think Carriacou people stupid? You feel everybody's you? What school you build in Carriacou in 6 months? Now this school, ladies and gentlemen, the Bishop's College in Carriacou, was a promise of the New National Party to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. The drawings, the funding, the contractors were put in place under the New National Party administration. The school was under construction all the time when election called. The school under construction. The school finished now. Dum jumping up now about, look what we do. In 6 months, we build a school. What school you build? You was wrong when it built, but you ain't build no school. That's you clap your hand and a fig tree fall during a hurricane and then you're saying it's the wind from your hand that knocked down the fig tree. You had nothing to do with it. You had nothing to do with it. It is just that it has been completed under your watch, and there are so many other projects like that. And you see, over time, people have been saying, oh, the New National Party, they didn't used to put information out. Let me tell you what's the problem here. A lot of information came out on a daily basis about these very same projects. I saw them, videos, there were interviews, there were different things that came out on all these things on a daily basis during the reign of the New National Party. The problem was it came out on GIS TV. If you went onto GIS TV, you would see it. How many of you that on right now actually take a look at GIS television, that tune into GIS television and leave your channel there for a while to see what government has been doing? Not much of you. Now, GIS also took a lot of this stuff. They cut it and they put it onto social media. But you know what happened? If somebody come out and say, that person is a pig thief, that get 5,000 shares. If somebody came out and say, a bridge has been built in this area, that was a promise that the New National Party made, and they built that bridge in that area and even sometimes the funding came from this source and so. Nah, that boring. They ain't watching that. We want to hear about the pig thief. That is what happened. So a lot of the things you're hearing about now seem to be coming new. For instance, they've been speaking about the refurbishment at the Grenada National Stadium. That's not a project at the NDC. That's a project at the New National Party. What them know about stadium? The last Minister of Sport them had before this one, the man give up the stadium. It took us to come back in and get back the stadium. They gave up houses, they gave up stadium. It's the New National Party that came in 2013 and got it back. And there was already an agreement before the elections in June of last year for the refurbishment of the Grenada Cricket Stadium and for some work to be done on the Athletic Stadium. I would know because I was involved. So they can't tell me that I lie. I know for a fact. But I hear them talking about now, we're going and do work on the stadium and we're going and do this and we're going and do that. If you check the budget documents, and I showed you last year, I showed you all what the budget document looks like. If you look at the budget documents, you would see the figures inside there for it. But they want you to forget the years 2020 and 2021. Grenada was beset by a thing called COVID-19. So therefore, your technical team now was in China. By the beginning of 2020, China imposed lockdown on its own people. So a lot of folks, including your technical team now, would have to come to Grenada, could not leave to come down to Grenada. Yeah? So you see now that things have eased up and so. And now you have some of the technical team came in and you have others coming in right now. Yeah? So you're seeing this thing happening now and you're thinking, is NDC? Where NDC know about that? The only project that the NDC administration of Deacon Mitchell has successfully implemented is the Send Home project, not another one. That is the only project that they have. The Send Home. Send home and pressure poor people. Not boots on the ground, boots in your rear. Because left, right, and center, that is what Grenadians getting. These are the people. These are the people who come to you and me. It's a good thing. And you know, piece by piece, we have to go back. It's very important to go back to that presentation that was done by Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell in relation to Budget 2023. And we're going to do that over the next few weeks. We're going to go back to bits and pieces. They want us to talk about them thing. Because you're going to suddenly realize that your electricity bill is much higher than it was before. But they're trying to give you the impression that they have lowered the electricity bill. We know they want to sell Grenlec. They have stated openly in their budget presentation that one of the means that they're going to raise that money that they're looking for to finance budget 2023 of $1.2 billion. One of the ways that they intend to raise that money is that they are going to divest things that government have. And what does government own? You can't give away the lands and so that government hardly have land. People have this misinterpretation that government have a pile of land. Remember, a lot of this land is rainforest. You can't touch it. Yeah, so you can't say you're going to just give away land. So what you have? What is the most valuable asset you have right now? It's Grenlec. Unless they want to sell Nawasa too. Maybe they want to sell with water too. You never know. Next thing you hear, a Dominican mineral water company own Nawasa. Next thing you never know. You just don't know with these individuals. Because they have said that they're going to fund that 2023 budget. In other words, they're going to get the money to pay the civil servants and the additional $500,000 that they have to find on pensions right now. They have said they're going to find that money now through things like CBI. What do you mean you will find that in CBI? You know, Grenada had cornered the market, under this NDC administration in relation to Russians, people who trying to run away from Russia, trying to get away from the war. What they were doing is they were applying, getting a Grenada passport, and then they were getting out of the draft in Russia. And so they were using that as a means of getting out from Russia and not having to go back to Russia. Yeah? One of the benefits of a Grenadian passport under the Citizenship by Investment program, which I'll now refer to as the CBI program, was the fact that we had an economic visa to the United States. Other Caribbean territories didn't have that. Grenada had it. Yeah? We were special in that respect. So our passport afforded an individual the opportunity to get that e-visa for the United States, that economic visa. Right? So that is why a lot of people want a Grenada passport or wanted a Grenada passport. Recently, the United States has removed that. And they specifically named Grenada. You know why? Because some people just decided they want to thumb their nose at the United States and say, well, all the other countries have closed off to bringing in Russians, but we're going to do it. So you have a plane load of Grenadians go over to Barbados to go and get visa. People who qualify, business people with money in the bank, business people, decent people, never make jail, the name never in no confusion and thing, go over to Barbados to get visa and get sent back. No visa. You feel that happening just so? You think that is just because they decided not giving visas? When other countries, people with less qualifications than what the United States is looking for, they're getting visas, but Grenadians going over and being refused? Yes, you have one or two getting through, but look at the numbers of people who otherwise would have qualified. And you see them being refused. Guess why? Because you want to go and put your foot into that international pot, you must get bun. You must get bun. So that is what has been taking place with these individuals. Yeah? So they're going now. And they're talking about we're going to fund the budget. The major component of the budget, we're going to fund it with CBI. You know what all the other Caribbean territories do? They drop the price lower than Grenada. So one by one, Dominica, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, especially St. Lucia, they start making their passport a lot more sexy to the person who wants to purchase a CBI investment. They want to get involved in a CBI investment. So they have put it in a way that person could get bonds and different things instead of just making the investment, all sorts of things. To encourage people to forget about Grenada and come to us. How has Grenada responded? The same way I just responded after I say responded, with nothing. Silence. But yet still they're saying that's how they're going to fund their budget. Yeah? There are also moves in the European Union right now to remove the Schengen visa from Grenadians. Yeah? Grenadians people who receive CBI passport, not you and me, as Grenadians who are born Grenadians, but people who receive their passport through CBI. They're now saying, and you know what the Schengen visa is? You may not know what the Schengen visa is. The Schengen visa means that a Grenadian can leave here. We could go to France. We don't need a visa. We could go to Germany. We don't need a visa. We could go to Austria. Not Australia, Austria. We could go to any European Union country and we do not need a visa to go there. The only time we need a visa is if we stay over a certain period of time. Like if it's over 90 days in some instances, over 60 days in some other instances. And so then you would need to get a visa. But other than that, you are allowed ease of travel. You could go to wherever throughout the European Union and you do not need to get a visa for those countries. That is not something that all other Caribbean countries have. Not like how Grenadians could enter the UK. We can go to the UK without a visa. They are Caribbean territories. If I remember correctly, Jamaicans need a visa to enter the UK. Grenadians don't need a visa to enter the UK. Yeah? So there are things that people in the CBI, because Grenada has those benefits to their passport, they were able to get. And what these countries have been doing is removing those benefits, not necessarily to you and me, as I said, as born Grenadians, because if you're Grenadian by descent, you're still a born Grenadian. Born Grenadians, they're removing it from the people who get the passport through CBI. So those people would no longer want to get the passport through CBI, which means that your projected revenue, if you've said and you projected that you're going to earn $300 million or $200 million out of CBI, you have to relook your figures now and realize you might make 50 or you might make 100 if you make all that. Because other countries now are offering cheaper passports with the same thing that Grenada is offering. That is what has been happening. So you think that when they did the budget in December, they put a loan authorization bill there of $350 million just for so, because they intend to borrow that. And more than likely, they may end up having to borrow that amount to be able to fund the budget that they're speaking about. But you know, the elephant in the room still remains that they're going to have to sell Grenlec. Now, if you had to sell Grenlec, I would think, me personally, I would think that one of the things that you would do is that you would offer it to me and you, Grenadians. You would say to all of us that we can own the shares in Grenlec that is there. So that I may be able to buy a few shares that I could then pass on to my children later down. And I could collect my dividends on a yearly basis. And you would be able to do the same. And some of you out there in the Grenadian diaspora, that you might be able to buy some shares. Because you might buy shares and the dividends from the shares might be the money that you use to spend when you come in Grenada, you know. Yeah, you buy enough shares and when you get those dividends, when you come in Grenada, you don't have to bring no spending money. You just take the dividends that's sitting in the bank there for you from your Grenlec shares, and that's where you use for the time you're here. You come for carnival, that's your Lyman money and thing. Or that is the money that you use in an emergency in Grenada to help a relative or whatever. But instead of that, it is fully the intention of this administration, this NDC administration, to sell Grenlec to a company, a foreign company, instead of allowing Grenadians, you and me, to own it. Remember what the New National Party was speaking about? Getting a company not to own Grenlec, but to manage it. So you get a management company who would come in and manage the affairs of Grenlec. They are paid and they manage Grenlec. You're paying a management company to manage the company. Yeah? And Grenadians, you and me, the teachers, who would be able to buy some shares? The fellas working on the docks. And you didn't forget the Port Authority, yeah? The fellas working on the docks, who might be able to buy a couple shares. The nurses, who might buy a couple shares. The bus drivers and all, who might be able to buy a couple shares. That everybody, whether you are a fisherman, right across the board, would have been able to buy some shares. And we would have had the ownership, and the benefits from owning those shares would have come to you and me as Grenadians. Instead of that, it's fully the intention of this government to sell Grenlec to a foreign entity. And I want them to prove me wrong. Yeah? I would like them to prove me wrong. It's fully their intention to sell it to a foreign entity. And they stated it in the budget, so they wouldn't say that they didn't tell you. They're going to say, you see in the budget under 6.3 in the budget statement, we did say divestment of government shares and so. Because remember, they did that before, you know. They did that before. And NIS shell out a couple million well to the then NDC administration for Grenlec shares that they know they couldn't get. Not NIS, no, you know. The then government and the leadership at that point in time knew That how the shares could not have been passed on to NIS. They had to be offered under the share purchase agreement of 1994. That those shares had to first be offered to WRB. And they could never have been passed on to a third party. But by that time, NIS done give the millions of dollars to the government ready to pay salaries and so. As the NNP administration had to come back in and pay NIS. When I hear some people talking about, oh, NNP raid NIS and take money. It's the NNP administration that used to be putting back the money in NIS. When the NNP came in, you had a situation that the NIS had not been paid. Not been paid. Workers' contributions were collected and had not been paid into the NIS. If you have a business and you're doing that all now, your name in the newspapers. Yeah? Your name in the newspapers. But that was done by the government of Grenada, the NDC government. But you see, the younger ones don't know, and I keep telling you all that. This year would make it 10 years since that 2013 general election and what happened before that. So the younger ones, the ones who voted for the first time this year, last year, they did not know. But you and me, we have to tell them. Folks, the phone number 440, I realize I missed a couple calls there. 440-73, let me just fix my call box. 440-7377. And for those of you out there in the diaspora, 347-329-3101. Nice.
This is not politics. Please don't forget. I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations.
I know one seed officer was fired on the weekend. On the weekend, a lot of people got sent home on the weekend. One seed officer was fired. The seed officer who was rated as probably the best in the island, year after year. Anyone who knows that individual could tell you that that individual has been the most impartial. You can't go to her and say, you as INNP, you as INDC, they don't care. What they want to know is what you need, what your problems are, so that they can help you. And this individual was sent home for nothing else but politics, because they need to make a job for their friends. So even if you were performing good, they send you home. That is what they have been doing. So they already increased the amount of money that they're getting by the $24,000 a year. Right? And that is what we know about. You never know, there could be other things too. Right? And I see they're talking all kind of thing about who get envelope and all kind of thing. Here now, I'm very interested in knowing the source of funding a lot of those hampers and the toy distribution that took place this Christmas by the National Democratic Congress, MPs and caretakers. Notice what I say, MPs and caretakers, because you had caretakers out there delivering hampers and so. And I want to know if an individual or a company involved in the citizenship by investment program, yeah? If an individual or a company involved in the citizenship by investment program provided the funds to the MPs and the constituency caretakers in the NDC to provide those hampers and those toys. They're talking about who sent back what. Who sent back is one thing, who didn't send back is another. Let me say it again. Are they talking about who sent back what and who have integrity? Who sent back is one thing, who did not send back is another. Read between the lines. Yeah? So I'm very interested in knowing if any individual or company, and be careful your answer, because sometimes ask things that I already know the answer to, as I say. So careful how you answer that. So I'm saying, were there any individuals or companies involved in CBI or maybe even other businesses related to government that provided funding to MPs of the NDC and caretakers of the NDC for the hampers and the toys that we saw distributed over the Christmas season? Sometimes you just have to ask a little question, you know, yeah.
Giving NNP more fame.
You ain't seen me hugging up and taking no picture with none of them. I ain't doing it. You cannot be firing my people. You cannot be pressuring my people. You cannot be sending my people home and taking the bread, boxing the bread out of them out and hugging you up and smile with you. I ain't no hypocrite. I ain't doing it. I ain't call nobody no hypocrite. I say I ain't no hypocrite. I don't have that kind of attitude. I different. I ain't hugging up nobody. Can't be talking unity, but once a person is a member of the New National Party, or you believe that they're associated or that they even vote for the New National Party, or they went to a rally sometime this election or maybe even my election before, you want to take the bread out of them out, you want to fire them, you want to send them home, yeah? And we seen it happening in Carriacou. Remember, the first set of letters they sent out said that these people were seen in NNP activities and so you can't be telling me that you want unity and you want to be friend and you want to transformation and all this nonsense you're talking. You can't be talking that and doing this to my people. My deceased mother always said, actions speak louder than words. God rest her soul. Dr. Colette Williams, good night to you. Landon James, good night. I don't hugging up, I don't smiling, I don't grinning, I don't taking no picture, and I don't doing nothing at all you. Who want to do it, that is them. Natalia John, good night to you. Gemma and Cynthia. It's now 7 minutes to the hour of 9 o'clock. We have approximately 1 hour and 7 minutes left on tonight's program. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.
This is not politics.
Yeah, the numbers been going up pretty good, but we need to increase the numbers a bit more.
To be a poet.
Then come in and you build a school in 6 months. A school? Mr. Man, you made the school building. You had nothing to do with it. All you went and do is watch it. And you build school? Promise kept? What promise kept? Ah, moi.
I don't owe no one, no obligation.
Yeah, I know the hypocrite thing, Anne-Marie. If you really want unity, you cannot be issuing letters to my people telling them that you're sending them home because they were seen in an NNP t-shirt or they were seen in an NNP rally. You can't want unity and be talking that nonsense with me.
I am.
You can't be picking people who you know are associated with the NNP and taking away their job from them. And in the most disgusting and vicious manner, at the end of the year, when it's supposed to be peace and goodwill to all men, when supposed to be we looking forward to a bright and prosperous new year, instead you're looking forward to an unemployed January? Come on, man. And you want to tell me unity? The only transformation taking place under the NDC is the transforming people who were employed to unemployed. They're transforming your bank account from having money into it to having nothing. Meanwhile, they're transforming theirs into having a lot more in it. While Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell came out to you after he declared his assets and said how much money he has. Have you heard the present Prime Minister even attempt, or any of his members even attempt to say how much money they have? But yet still, they want to call other people all kind of negative names.
You sure is that you want to say? Cause it sounded so good.
Every Grenadian school child could tell you how much money Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, former Prime Minister of Grenada, had at the point in time of him making his declaration. Can they say the same about the individual who they're saying is so clean and so decent and so everything? What? I'm afraid to say how much money he has?
Yellow, all the...
Or they're trying to make more money. Is it a situation that the MPs in the NDC, all these people, are trying to make some money and put some money there before they tell you how much money they have?
Says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign prom.
No shame if you're broke, say you're broke. Hey, look, I broke.
We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Old school parables.
Actions speak louder than words.
So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah.
Margaret, good night to you.
To brew, to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song I sing, one bell a ring.
And we have a call online. Good night.
Hi, good night, Sheldon.
Hey, good night. How are you?
Hey, I'm just good, man.
Yeah, go right ahead. You're live.
Sheldon, it hurts me, eh? It really hurts me to hear the collaboration talk and to know that our people, Sheldon, is being sent home in that way. I think anybody, Sheldon, who is a member of the New National Party has that responsibility, Sheldon, to stand up for the people who voted for them, who voted for the New National Party in general. And the first cry, that person who is that person of responsibility should cry for the people is that the things that's hurting the people. The collaboration, yes, but your cry should be held on for. Why are you sending these people home? Why are you sending these poor people home? Why are you hurting these people? What they have done to you? Why you want me to collaborate with you and to go out there and make life look so, like Grenada is so united, while on the other hand you're slapping up the poor people, firing them, sending them home penniless, jobless. No, Sheldon, something is not right about it. And I think, MPs should be a little bit more serious about it. Look at that and challenge that. Anybody wants you to collaborate with them, that should be the first thing on the agenda. Why are you hurting the green people? Thank you, Sheldon.
All right, my brother. Yeah, that's why I say I ain't shaking hand, I ain't taking picture, I ain't want friend. Because you cannot be doing that to people that I care about. You cannot be doing that to my family. You cannot be doing that to my brothers and sisters in this organization and still expect me to come and smile and grin with you. I ain't smiling and grin with you. I ain't smiling and grin. Don't come and talk no unity and transformation. The only thing you're doing is you're transforming the employed into unemployed. That's what they're doing. They're transforming you from having a little dollar in your pocket to being brooks. That is what has been taking place. We have a caller online. Good night.
Hey, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm there, man.
All right, man. Happy New Year to you. I could still say that today is the 30th. I could still say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. Thank you. Yeah, Brother Sheldon, the pension paid in November?
Yes, in November, yeah.
A lot of people think because the pension paid, the Christmas will be bright. Brother Sheldon, for the past 30, 40 years, this Christmas is the worst. The worst. If you check shopkeepers hardly get any sale. Because you see, the who get pension is senior citizen. And what they did, they put that money in a saving. And they sit down in the bank there. And people was selling a good thing in the market. They cry, they hardly get anything sell. And people who was thinking that the pension paid, the money will flowing. But the whole change the attitude with people. Because the young people. And I only see when young people get money and they spend money. When the seniors, when they get money, they have the line, they put the money in the bank and stay and they live off the interest. And Brother Sheldon, I remember this present government is always talking about handout. Take a look what is seen for this Christmas. Who walk with the bag in the hand going out? What that is? What that is? As Brother Sheldon Douglas sang a song, you hate what you like, or you like what you hate. The same thing you're condemning, the same thing you're doing. And right now, Brother Sheldon, I wait to see that transformation. And often I can't see that. I can't see that transformation. And as I said, the only project that government I could them 100% for is the send home program. We the send home people. And you made promise to the people that you go make them permanent. By making them permanent at home. And I always say half a loaf is better than nothing. And if you're on a contract, make sure when one ten which you, or the 14 which you collect a salary. What they did, you take them off the contract and you send them home. So they had no money to collect. No need to collect. They had trying to school. They are trying to send to school. So instead of you making life better for the lower class of people, making life more difficult for them. And now you're going out and giving a hamper to someone. And I always say, Brother Sheldon, give me a hamper for the Christmas. And I walk in and I'm getting a salary every month. Which one better? Not those who are on contract and they getting a salary every fortnight or every month. Well, Sheldon, I want to say to the people, look, don't forget and forgive. But remember what this government is doing. Even some of the people who support them, I know you are letting people support them because they want it permanent. And what they get, a permanent job to a permanent home, sit-down home, where they have nothing to collect when they want anything. And I always understand. You know, so that when you walk in, and you have to get a salary, you can go in the shop and credit something because shop grow credit because you have money to get. But when you don't walk in, you think you go to the shop and ask for credit. Because shopkeeper know definitely you don't walk in, how you go pay them? So I think the government should look at the decision they're making. And as they said, when they came in, government, the treasury was pregnant with money. And they had no need to send home the workers. They could have put people who they want to put there on contract. But keep the people there. Keep the people there. And when you keep them there, and more people working, more money will be flowing in the country, and it will be better for the country. But when you send home about 600 people who are working, how they could spend? How they could spend?
All right, my brother. You have a good night. You see, they did a budget, and to a lot of people, the budget was pregnant with hope. It was pregnant with optimism. It was pregnant with a lot of things. But come January, right now it's stillborn. That's what took place with the budget. The budget already stillborn. It didn't even make us 7 months. Because these individuals do not care about people. So some people may find, oh, he harsh, or he coming down. So no, it's not a matter of harsh and not coming down. So when you see the tears of the people that have to go home, who you're calling on Saturday. Saturday was the last day of the year. And you calling these people on Saturday and tell them that they're no longer employed. These people have children in secondary school. These people have children in primary school. These people have elder relatives that depend on them. Even if it's a local sugar water they could give them, they depend on them. And you send these people home. And then you think I come in and smile with you? Listen, I'm all for unity, you know. I am all for unity. I'm all for coming together as a nation. But it has to be in actions, not just in words. Because all we're hearing is words, but the actions are totally opposite to what we're seeing. You see, the same people that saying, for instance, that, oh, they need CBI, and they want CBI, and so you see, the same people come and leak a letter simply because it's Brenda they want to embarrass her, because they believe that Brenda is an NNP. So they come and that was an attack on Brenda. And at the same time to try and make them look good. But what they have done is that they have damaged the same CBI program that they expect to get money from. The goose that laid the golden egg, they chop his head off and they cook him. That's what they do. So the same CBI program that's supposed to fund things, like to help to pay the pension, to help to pay the salaries of public workers, to pay for the increases that people expecting to get, to pay for projects taking place, whether it's roads, bridges, schools, whatever, that has to be done. The same CBI that they're looking at for the money to do that, to put into other areas, is the same CBI that they're doing this nonsense behind. Because that letter that the NDC operatives have leaked is very damaging, not to the people here, you know, to Grenada's CBI program all around the world. So people will now start to look at Grenada's CBI program as, hey, that thing may be corrupt, you know. Or, hey, that project might be a corrupt project. I shouldn't take part in that. And start depriving Grenada tens of millions of dollars just because you want to attack one person. Because that's what they do. That's who they wanted to get at. Long they wanted to get at her. So they do this thing, and they got what you call a Pyrrhic victory. And for those of you that understand what I mean by Pyrrhic victory, it's a victory that you fight a war and you win. But the cost of winning is so much, it's like you lose too. It's like you bomb your own self because the enemy was around you, so you put off a bomb, you kill yourself and you kill the enemy. So both are all you're dead. So you win, but you're dead. So they just wanted a Pyrrhic victory. So they're putting out all these kind of things and attacking people. And talking about, oh no, leak. These people and them consciously taking these documents and put them out in the public because they intend to try and embarrass some people. So don't give me the impression, yeah, we're hearing about that one. What about other companies and other individuals who are also involved in CBI and CBI projects and other MPs in the NDC. And MPs in the NDC because Mr. Duncan is not MP. But MP is in the NDC. Yeah? We know how much of them get enveloped. Anybody leak that? When they want to get rid of one of them, they'll leak it and say that one. As an excuse to get rid of them. Yeah? Do we know if they get envelopes too? Or what else they get? Do we know where toys come out from? Do we know what other things that they've been giving away come from? Yeah? You don't know. But jump up about, you see transparency? You see transparency? Transparency may foot. Four 440-7377. Sorry again. I just took my eyes away from the phone line for a short while. 440-7377. And my diaspora family. 347-329-3101. I've been checking and telling you that story about this thing in Grenada has started circulating now. There are various networks that deal with the issue of citizenship by investment, where the people who sell citizenship by investment in different countries, where these individuals put information and that story has been making a negative rounds, and it is affecting Grenada's standing in the CBI program. At a point in time, just after they held that whole function to tell you how highly rated Grenada's CBI program was, they started doing everything possible to destroy it. That will only leave them two areas to be able to raise money. One, tax in all our tail. Let me say it again. Tax in all our tail. Right? The second one, sell Grenlec. Because you could put millions into the creative industry, it's going to take a number of years before you start seeing major benefits coming out of that area. So you could say you're going and put 20-something million and 40-something million or whatever in specific aspects of the creative industry. But it takes time for that to build. Like how you have Georgia in the United States and they have movies being made there and that kind of thing. They have the studios built and they have the set and everything set up. So when somebody wants to do a movie, they come in and they do it and that kind of thing. It's going to take a lot to roll out certain aspects of that here. So it is not something that you're spending 48 million or you're spending 20 million this year or 5 million this year, and you expect that by the end of the year, you're going to make 20 million out of it. So where is the money going to come from? Again, tax in retail. And all you remember on the 3rd of January 2023, I told all you tax in retail. There's one particular MP that they have that I remember speaking on a program and speaking about broadening the tax base. You know what broadening the tax base mean? It means that if people who earn over $3,000 are the ones paying personal income tax. So you're paying personal income tax, which is a percentage of the amount of money that you're earning. You pay that in personal income tax. Right. Broadening the tax base means that you drop it now to either people who are earning $1,000 and above. Yeah? So people who are earning $1,200 may end up having to pay personal income tax. People who are paying 15 may end up having to pay personal income tax. 18 would have to end up paying personal income tax. You're working for 2,000, 2,005, you're paying personal income tax. And even worse, you might end up paying across the board. So even if you're earning 500, you're paying personal income tax. Meanwhile, the 24,000 that they have given themselves on a yearly basis, they ain't paying tax on it, you know. Yeah. Here is what. And that's why I say you all need to listen over the presentation by the former Prime Minister in relation to Budget 2023. The $24,000 additional that the NDC MPs have taken onto their salary as government ministers cannot be taxed because it is traveling allowance. If they had just put it onto their salary as an increase in the salary, on the salary side of things, then they would have to pay personal income tax on that increase. But instead now, on the $2,600 a month, $24,000 additional a year that they are receiving, they are not paying personal income tax on that. That is why it's been attached as a traveling allowance. And then they tell you nonsense like that is to pay driver. And think drivers are paid under the ministry. Check the budget document, yeah? Drivers are paid under the ministry, so you don't have to go and get nobody have to come and get thing to go and pay no driver and them kind of thing again. Yeah, one of my good friends, they went to the accident and emergency over the Christmas period, and they were saying, man, Sheldon, one of the mistakes the NNP made was not to tout what they have been doing with the accident and emergency. He said he went in there, and for a moment he nearly forgot he was in Grenada. Remember the same building that was all iron left there rusting by the NDC of 2008 to 2013. That even members at this present NDC were talking against. That the new National Party came back into power into 2013 and brought into reality into what it is right now. With your state-of-the-art CT scanning, with you being able to get your ultrasound and your x-ray being done there. Top class. With you also being able to get your dialysis done there and so on. My friend told me he went in there and he said it's a shame that NNP has not, up to this point in time, taken credit for the upgraded accident and emergency wing of the General Hospital. Four 4407377 347-329-3101. Let me say a special good night to Brooklyn. You know, those of you in North America have been having some very, very cold weather lately. Tomorrow during the day, I'll send you all some Grenadian sunshine, yeah? Now, 15 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock on the Spice Isle of Grenada. Denner, good night to you. The Abraham family. You Also been getting some information about what's been taking place with the geriatric workers. Now, you have these groups of people working under the agency who go around and they would clean the elderly person's house and they would clean them. Sometimes, some of the people are immobile and so they clean, they wash for them, they organize and everything. And in some cases, you have some of these caregivers that go and they do 2 or 3 houses a day. Generally, some of them may go and they may complete, they know the place, so they do their work, and they may do it pretty quickly. So you may complete one, let's say you go to one at 8, sometimes by 10 you're completed there. You may go by another one by 11:30 or so you're completed there, and then you complete one by 1 o'clock. Then it gives you the opportunity now to say, well, okay, I can get something else to do in the afternoon time. The same way that our brothers and sisters out there in the UK and who out there in different parts of North America do it. You might have one job for the morning and you have another one for the evening, and you might even still have a third one in the night. Some people have 4, right? To make ends meet. Now, these people were called in and told that you have to work 8 to 4. They don't care if it's one person house you have to do for the day, but you have to work 8 to 4. So when you go in, you're going in for 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're not allowed to leave, and they come in and check that you're not allowed to leave until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And remember, it is similar to what they were identifying as one of the things that they believe needs to be fixed with the debushing program. That people in debushing mustn't have a contract to do X amount of yards, clean this amount of yards here, and then after that, you're able to go and have another job to make 2 ends meet. Yeah, in other words, they want your ends stay far apart. That's transformation. That's transformation. That even the people who are still employed, you put in mechanisms in place to force some of them to leave the job. Because some of them would not be able to handle it. So you put in mechanisms in place, not to help them, not to improve the quality of work they're doing, not to thank them and to increase the amount of money that they're getting, but to squeeze the lifeblood out of them and to ensure that these individuals cannot then go and make a living otherwise, that they must only do that and that alone, and they're working from 8 to 4. So all government workers, whether you're debushing, whether you're working in geriatric, whether you're doing caregiving, whether you're one of them that going around and teach the children and them to read and spell and all kind of thing, all of them, 8 to 4. And then talk about increasing salary, Don't think they say 8 to 4 and it means that they're increasing the amount of money that these people getting on a monthly basis. That basically told them that all government workers had to work between 8 to 4. And then they try to dial back on the debushing and say, well, we didn't say that, it's not that we did say, and trying to dial back and so, don't worry. Don't worry. We haven't played clips tonight. It's the first program for the year. We haven't played clips. But we have video. We have load of video. We have load of audio. And we will be playing. So all them who say they didn't say, we know when you say and we have when you say. So when we say you say, we know for a fact that you say and we're going to play what you say. Nice? Good. Yeah, we're going to make sure we do that.
Bad mind NBC. What are you telling yourself? You can't stop with that. Easy. Dirty had to say what they want. They could never stop with no. NBC could do as they please. They can never pull me down. NNP is always the winners.
Yeah, they've told them 8 to 4. Now, I've heard one out of Carriacou that the geriatric workers out there, it is alleged that they were called into a meeting last week and they were told that they have no holidays, which I don't know which labor code, whoever tell them that. Javon, I hope it's not you. Whoever, and Susan, I hear your name calling, I hope it's not you either. But whoever told them that, better go and read Grenada's labor code. Senator Andre Lewis. Check up on what's going on with geriatric workers in Carriacou. Because I am hearing allegations that these individuals have been told that A, they no longer have any holidays, so there are no holidays to get. B, any day that they miss, if they're sick, if their child sick, whatever it is, and they miss a day, that is being immediately deducted from their salary. So when they get their salary at the end of the month, the day that they miss due to them being ill or the child being ill, like if it had no such thing in the labor code about sick days and compassionate leave and all them kind of thing. Any day you miss, you're not being paid, and that they are not employed by the government of Grenada and that kind of thing. You see, I'm saying some exact things that people said was said in that meeting. So I'm going to do some further inquiring. Yes, investigate and inquire in relation to that particular issue in Carriacou with the geriatric caregivers. And don't afraid to call and say it, and if they fire all you after, all you have a legal case.
You could do as you please. No way you ain't stopping where you can't stop and
Oh boy, 4407377. Let me just clear the call box as usual, you know. As I stand, sometimes on my leg knocks against it, it turns on. So you can call back 4407377. Yeah? Call back 4407377. You can call and get onto the inside.
what's this voice I hear of people in despair, wanting me to sing about their suffering, people struggling, a struggler.
Yeah, Jocelyn, I saw a letter from Grenlec that went out to their shareholders saying basically that they can't pay dividends and it was due to the measures that were taken. The same measures that you, I, and all other poor people in Grenada benefited from. That, it's due to that. Because, you know, there are some shareholders, some local people, the Grenadian, born, bred Grenadian local people that kind of and they have shares in it. Yeah, and all they care about is the dividends. They don't care about you, they don't care about me, they don't care about Grenada. All they care about is the dividends. Yeah? So Grenlec sent out a letter telling these people that they can't pay dividends this year. The company in a bad way. They can't pay dividends. That kind of, I have the letter somewhere there. We're going to go over it over the next few days and so. I kind of grab laptop and run today, so I don't have all those things with me. But yes, Jocelyn, I did see a letter that was sent out by Grenlec to the shareholders and so with quite a lot of things in it. Yeah. Gil, what do you want to hear? They asking me to play. All right. And yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just going through the various messages here. And one person is saying that the MP for St. John has gone missing. Well, you never know. Next thing you see, the RGPF put out a thing asking people if they've seen this individual recently. And yeah, they're looking for that individual. All right. Yeah, man. A few of them MPs gone missing well and truth, you know. Yeah? All right. 4407377. That's the number to call and get on the inside.
If the voice of the people is the voice of God, why
yes, TC, that's King Dice.
so loud and all the pillars of society?
Out of the nature isle of Dominica. But the song like he write it for Grenada.
In their judgment, they never chastise your government. They talk of Jesus like it's history. I have never been one to stand up and speak against wrong. Expose myself to political victimization. But the one they Calypso king to be a liberator. Alright. Give me man.
24 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. And folks, we'll be joined by a couple of radio stations over the next few weeks. And as I've told you as well, we will be having former Prime Minister, Opposition Leader, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. He will be on with us in the coming days. We'll be giving you some more information in relation to that over the next few days.
Tell pastor and priest, yes wrong. No practice what you preach. Even though I may be unworthy. Send me, look me, send me, look me.
One of the commentators here is asking about Camahon Park. Well, I've heard things about Camahon Park. And in the same way, Grenlec, you know, ting, 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 Camahon Park, ting, 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 ting. because I've heard that there are people who have shown interest in obtaining and acquiring Cameron Park.
Devoid of wisdom, still trading their souls up.
Last time when people heard that, there's a group of people that was jumping up and saying, no, no. I'm hearing that, and I know that they're hearing what I'm hearing too, but it doesn't seem as though they're interested because it's a different government in power now, yeah.
Bible for a game. And if their works be found in the evil domain, then you can count upon King Dice to call them by their name. They want their Calypso king to be a liberator. Alright. Give me melody and words and a cause and I will go there.
So yes, Anne-Marie, he will be in studio with us.
Left to me alone.
And remember, it's the first program for 2023.
Oh no, the pleasures of life are all I've been living for. But you want a bold face, no face. Hide this disgrace and put wrongdoing in its rightful place. Even though I may act wrongfully, send me, look me, send me.
Yes, folks, again, 440-737. Let me move that mic a little bit because I keep missing it when somebody's calling. I'm seeing the numbers. I'm sorry about that, yeah? So let me shut. I've got to find a new way to put this mic so it's out of my vision so that I could see. Or a new place to put the light, yeah? Maybe I need some longer cables.
Take my number. Call on me.
440-7377.
My number
347-329-3101.
617.
No, King Dice. Not that number. Are you trying to get a Grenadian girlfriend? You feel it, sir?
Call on me. Ah, yeah. Take my number.
And good night to you, Margaret, out there in Canada. Again, I spoke about certain things with the budget at the ending of last year. For instance, the issue of if you're saying you're going to push agriculture, but then they hadn't made a special effort in relation to zero rating items, agricultural inputs, so that you could make the cost of production in agriculture lower to drop the cost of items here. Yeah? And then you have the situation with the Marketing and National Importing Board. So come on, let me stop my tune and let's talk. Over the past few weeks, I have been hearing, I know rumors, because I've heard it from members of staff at the Marketing and National Importing Board, that they have been informed that many of them are going to be going home this month, most likely. Because we've spoken about it and because we've exposed the issue and they realize there's a lot of negative feedback in relation to that issue, don't be surprised that they change and try to do it over a period of time. I've been hearing as much as 45% of the staff may be on their way home. That's people from packing house to administration that may be on their way home. Listening the budget debate in the Senate, it was raised by several people. I know Senator Angela Lewis raised it, Senator Roderick St. Clair raised it, Senator Cox raised it. You heard it being raised. But you know what you did not hear? You did not hear denial from the members on the NDC side. I don't know if many of you realize that. You did not hear, if it's not true, they had the opportunity when it was raised to come out and say straight up, hey, what all you hear is not true. That ain't taking place. Right? So members of staff have been told that they're going home. They haven't been specifically chosen out. So what you have now is people working. And if you followed Greek mythology, you might know about Greek mythology and all these old history and so you may know of the sword of Damocles. So now they have this sword of Damocles hanging over their head. In other words, it's like a sword and you don't know when it's going and fall to chop your head off. But it always did. Anywhere you go, it's there. So they're working, not knowing when that axe is going to fall. Not the sword, but an axe is going to fall to separate them from their job. Now imagine, these are people that had a local mortgage to pay. These are people that had a car loan to pay. These are people that have books and uniform to buy. These are people that have food to buy, electricity and water to pay. And they don't know if come next month or the month after they're going to be working. Because it seems as though the intention is to wrap up and tie up the Marketing and National Importing Board and throw it. The same Marketing and National Importing Board that the revolution put in place. So now you realize what uncaring individuals these people are. Because you don't even identify the people and say, well, okay, we're giving you notice that in the next month or the next 2 months or the next 3 months, you will be one of the people going. So these people could start looking for a job now. These people could start looking for means of saving themselves and helping themselves and their family. They didn't even say, well, let's do that now and put these things in place for these people. Instead, you have everybody working in Marketing and National Importing Board wondering if it's them going home. There's an atmosphere there of fear. And the trade union, you, Mr. George Mason, had this happen under the NNP administration, all now marketing board workers would have been outside with placards. I think you're retired, but that don't mean that you're out of it. All now you would have been with placard. All the marketing board have a branch, you would have been outside there with placard protesting, pulling the staff out. You'd have been on every radio and television station you could have get on to. You would have gone to interview with every newspaper in Grenada. But because it's the NDC administration, all you're on mute. Yeah. So the workers are Marketing and National Importing Board only important to people like you. When is the NNP in power? When is the NDC? You don't care. So the people going to work every day not knowing if today is the day are going and get the letter that says they no longer work here. How you think that affects a person mentally? You could imagine them at home right now and that stresses on them. And that happened before the Christmas. So I'm sure these people didn't have a nice Christmas. Because they ain't sure if after the Christmas, boy, I ain't sure if I'm working, you know. Because I hearing it's close to 45% of the staff that might be going home. They say they're going to make one big cut. And while they're looking to cut there, people who you know involved in marketing board right now for their own business making sure that they contact farmers though. In other words, they're getting deeper into the same business that Marketing and National Importing Board is doing. But nobody ain't talking about that. Everybody afraid to talk about them thing. But if it had happened under the new National Party, all now, them workers would have been on the streets with placard. And I ain't blaming the workers. It's the leadership. The union that they spend their money on a monthly basis with to represent them, who seems to have gone mute on the issue of the pending retrenchment of workers at the Marketing and National Importing Board of Grenada. They're mute. They have nothing to say. So them poor workers and them, they suffering in mental anguish. Mental anguish. Because they don't know which day, which month, which week is going to be their last. Is that fear that people that care about people? That is the type of transformation you're talking about? That is transformation? That's the kind of thing. Well, I want to believe what I just seen there. I can't believe that you have a business. You have a business selling thing to the Marketing and National Importing Board. and you are the person or one of the people in charge of the direction that the Marketing and National Importing Board taking, and then you also have a business which you're trying to duplicate what the Marketing and National Importing Board doing. So you're seeing that the Marketing and National Importing Board, that their thing is going down and down and down and down and down. And instead of trying to find ways to help them to make it come up and up and up and up, you trying to find a way to siphon off more of what they were doing into your personal thing? Come on, man. I ain't call no name. But all you know who I'm talking about. I ain't call not a name.
Just like him, but be not afraid.
Yes, indeed. 37 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. Yeah. Had it been the new national party that was in office, you would have heard them. You would have heard them. I tell you, would have been protests on the streets already. But that sword of Damocles, that axe, is hanging over the heads of the Marketing and National Importing Board workers. It's hanging over their head. You ain't here in the union. The unions in general, quite like all of them waiting for them to get fired first. What are you going to do? Wait until all of them get fired? Or are you going to address the issue now and confront the board of directors and say, hey, what are you all going to do to these workers? What are your plans for these workers? What are the benefits? Even if you disengage with the workers, what are the benefits that they're going to get? Yeah, hearing that kind of thing. Like they're waiting for them to fire them first. But if it was the NNP in office right now, all kind of old mass would have play. And all of a sudden, let me touch on this one. Some may like it, some may not like it. But I won't touch on this one. The National Democratic Congress knew that the new National Party, as part of the developmental plan for Grenada, one of the areas that came up for discussion in the national strategy, I'm trying to remember the exact name that they called it, but the National Development Plan, was the area of cannabis and the possibilities of the cannabis industry here in Grenada. So there were discussions that had taken place. That's part of the strategy itself. There are several sections that deal with that. I wonder, I may have it over here still. But there are several areas that deal with that issue in the national strategy. Now, they ran in front and they jump up on the issue of marijuana and say, well, okay, they're going to legalize marijuana. The new National Party said that they were looking at the possibility of decriminalizing marijuana, which meant, if you listen to what has taken place throughout the Caribbean in many countries, and so, when you decriminalize, what was being discussed was the possibility of it no longer being an offense that if you were caught with, let's say, 4 ounces of marijuana, that you could legally carry that. So guys who had 4 ounces, you legally could carry that. If you have 2 fine bags, you're going to jail. But if you have a 4 ounces, that's personal use, you could have that. Or maybe you had a 2 or 3 trees that you could have had that, and that was legal. And so that's what the new National Party was talking about and discussing when it spoke about decriminalization of marijuana. Because it makes no sense for you to continue arresting a guy for one spliff, and by the time the police arrest him, put him in a vehicle and bring him to the police station, it already cost the state of Grenada more than that one spliff cost. Yeah? So they were looking at it from that perspective. The NDC jump in front and say, we legalizing it. While you talk about decriminalization, we go legalize it, we go legalize it, we go do this, we go do that. And you look at the industry and that kind of thing. Again, as I said, the New National Party was already looking at various aspects of the cannabis industry, as in growing and exporting and the extraction of the oils and so on, and different elements for the cosmetic industry and the medical industry. That's things that there in the strategic plan. If you look at it, it's there. And it was there before the NDC has been there. It's been there for a couple of years now. There's also been a CARICOM document that has been done in relation to cannabis and the Caribbean and so. And it gave a historical background on some of the possibilities in relation to cannabis and the Caribbean. Right? So the NDC was saying, legalize it. What Shupin is they talking about? Decriminalize. Legalize it. All of a sudden now, the same NDC have changed from legalize to legalize for medicinal use. So again, campaign promises, they get tricked again. All of a sudden, at the last parliament sitting, it changed from legalize as in legalize across the board. Just legalize it. It's no longer illegal. Grow where you want, use where you want, that kind of thing. Because some Rastaman was jumping up and beating bongo drum. Because they were so happy when they started to hear that kind of thing. All of a sudden now, if they paid attention to the parliament, they should have heard that now they're speaking about, I heard the Minister of Agriculture, and he was speaking about legalization for medicinal use. He made sure to specify which circumstance it could be used under. Now, I'm neither here nor there on it, but I'm saying the promise was legalization. So that if the guys down in Saigon want to lime on the block and burn a spliff, then the police wouldn't do them anything. And if the guys up in Snug Corner wanted to do the same, or the guys up in Kalalu, or wherever, Baghdad, wanted to do similar, they ain't had no problem. But now, what they are saying, they changed them out now, legalization, but they add something to it for medicinal use. So in other words, you have to have a medical problem and get a doctor now to prescribe medicinal marijuana for you to use. That is not what I was promising before. So they tricked them with campaign promises, and now they start to change them out. Because people didn't listen. The NNP was saying one thing, and they were saying another. And the impression that they gave you, the same as they gave the pensioners, that everybody go qualify and everybody go get a pension. Bossmen and all vote for pension. They never work with government a day in their life. But they vote for pension. Because they get take, they didn't listen. So they didn't understand that when the issue of pension came up, it was an issue that was specific to people who worked in the public service for a specific period of time and were appointed to a position within the public service for a specific period of time. So a lot of them, they went and they lashed the X and they say, boy, I vote for the pension. Only to realize that all they're getting after is tension and not pension. Because there's more and more tension. Because there is no pension. There's only a specific group of people that qualified. And you saw them, it's 500 and something or so that got paid. And then a caller earlier was speaking about how they utilize that money. Now, one, the government tried to pull a smart one because they pay it at a point in time when they know there's already economic activity taking place in Grenada, which is the end of the month of November and December. So people always go about and buy paint and buy things to fix their house and all this kind of thing when November come into December. It's tradition. It's Caribbean people. It's not just a Grenadian thing. It's a Caribbean thing. They do it in Trinidad, Tobago, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, Dominica, Montserrat, Anguilla. They do it throughout the Caribbean. That's just the way we are. When it's Christmas time, from November, we start going and we start to paint and we start to fix up and we start to dress the house and they buy the curtains and they do all the different things. Now that happens whether or not there was any big influx of money into the country. But you had this $40-something million. Now, who did get this? These are people over the age of 60, yeah? So you think people over the age of 60 running down by Steels and buy a new vehicle, or going by Gleans and check Proby and them for a new vehicle? You think they're going down in Huggins and say, I want that one? People over the age of 60? You think these people and them go in and say, well, yes, at 65, at 68, I think it's time for me to put on another room on the house, and I go in and add another this and another. No. They might fix up a little bit of what they're doing in some instances, but most of the people, they're looking at their health and so on, they put money aside for a rainy day because they know that they're getting down in age and they may need certain things, so they make sure they put that money aside for use for those things. Some others have decided to splurge, but not in the ways that this stupid ad I see they do on the radio over the Christmas season, giving people the impression. No. They splurge like, hey, I'm going on a cruise. I wanted to go on a cruise ship all the time. I'm going on a cruise. You think that money coming to Grenada? No. They go on a cruise. They go and visit relatives overseas and that kind of thing. That's how a lot of these people have spent the money. Whereas, if you had gotten into an arrangement and you paid people part of it, and then you had an arrangement to pay within a certain time period another part, and another time period another part. And while you were doing that, you said, if it's 40, we're going to give you all 20 now. We'll give you all 10 and 10 or 15 and, mix it up so that people would get it, but they get it over an extended period of time. And the 40 that you have now, you take 20 and you give them, but you take 20 and you sink it into the bonuses for the police, bonuses for the nurses, bonuses for the teachers. Because they sit down there and they're watching St. Lucia, police and so get bonus. They watch St. Kitts get bonus a month or two ago, and they were able to use it to buy items, and so that they got duty-free concession to come in for the Christmas season. They watch other countries get a bonus. So you could have said that, hey, we're going to pay you, because these people would have been grateful to get at least half of what they had to get immediately, and they get the other half in tranches. But instead of doing that, they take all and they give one segment and they tell the police and them, we can't find Ernest and Young report to tell all you how much all you're really supposed to be getting. No bonus, no pay and grade, nothing. Nothing for police. The same people are outside right now beating due. Nothing for police. Nurses, the same people are in the hospital right now taking care of our sick and dying. Yeah? And would not see their home until sometime tomorrow. Some of them don't even see their home in the morning. No. They ain't see their home until the evening. Yeah? Those same people. You say, yes, well, you put a 5. Nobody have a problem with them putting. Now you hear this nonsense about who have a problem with them putting the 500. Nobody have a problem with them putting 500. The only problem I have with them putting 500 is that it should have been 5,000. Because if you could give yourself an additional 2,000 a month, then nurses who've been working all this time could have get an additional 5. But you take a 2,000 for yourself and you get the nurses a 500. It should have been the other way around. Yeah? And you should have put your 500 taxable. Because I believe the 500 that the nurses getting, if I remember correctly, may be taxable as well. I have to double check that. But it might be getting the 500. It might not really be 500, Might be 3 something. Yeah, might be 4 something, because it might be taxable according to how they placed it. Right? So this is what has been taking place. They've been playing with the semantics of common sense and coming up with stupidity. And it continues to happen. Yeah? And we are seeing the development of that plan that they have going there, to try and give the impression that they're doing so much and they're doing this and they're doing that. Oh, we're doing Molyneux Road. You doing Molyneux Road? Funding secured by the New National Party. Contractors secured by the New National Party. Drawings, design, everything organized, from Nawasa moving the pipes and Grenlec moving the poles. Everything organized under the New National Party. But you doing the Molyneux project? What you know about Molyneux project? You come and you meet it. You build Bishop's College? What do you know about Bishop's College? I wonder if he went Bishop's College. You know, I don't know if he go Hillsborough or Bishop's College. First Bishop's College, I wouldn't acknowledge that he went. No? But anyhow, boots on the ground. Promise made, promise delivered. Well, promise made, promise delivered. The only thing you've been delivered in Carriacou is letters to people to go home. That's the only thing being delivered in Carriacou. Letters for poor and vulnerable people to go home. People who you do not believe support you politically, so you just get rid of them. And it even have people that they send letters to, they believe didn't support them, but might have gained them the vote, but will not make that mistake again. All now they're trying to bite off the finger. And these are the kind of things that have been taking place in our country. These are the kind of things that have been taking place in our islands. From Petit Martinique all the way down to Point Saline. These are the kind of things that we've been seeing taking place. And then when they're doing all of this, still come in and tell us, hug and kiss me, we want to be friends. Friends with who? I'll say hello, but that's where it stopped. Me want no picture with all you, and hugging all you. I might shake a hand or give a bounce. Might. I want no friend. Can't treat my people like that and expect me to want to be friends with you. No way. That ain't happening. I think somebody asked me to play this one for them.
What are you telling yourself? You can't stop we that. Easy. Dirty I can say what they want. They can never stop me no. And the sick could do as they please. They can never pull me down. And then things always the winners. They come to tell what is your seed. But you better save your
Bro, it's not boots in the ground, it's boots in your rear. Not pie in the sky, it's pie in your eye.
And you just can't be telling me bad mind that ain't working. This is another people's victory. All you can bend the working. And this you give up now. Advice for you.
You see, someone is saying they ain't sorry for them to get the government. It is, I know the song, you know. Yeah, you get the government you deserve. But the thing here, the problem here is that it have people who really, really need assistance. And because of their political leaning or their perceived political leaning, they've been treating in a specific way. Yeah? Look at what's going on with GDP. Look at what's going on with cess. They take cess and make it into a cesspool. I said it. They take cess and they make cess into a cesspool. That you have people that apply August, September, months ago. They can't even get a call back. It's like if somebody just watch the folder and say, I ain't bothering that person and throw it in a dustbin. Meanwhile, you have other people that are putting in the thing this week and getting it next week. And I'm even hearing an allegation. I'm hearing an allegation that there may even be individuals who get twice. Yeah. I'm hearing that there may be people who have even gotten twice. Meanwhile, you have other people that really need. And I heard the brother speaking up there in St. George, Northwest about this issue. That he personally had helped some of these people put together the documentation. And these people ought to have been given the opportunity under the program to be able to get funding under cess. But instead of that, cess turned into a cesspool. Cess end up in mess. So these people end up with nothing. That is what has been taking place. And then you want to talk about unity and transformation and we's friend? What friend? You have to treat me the same way you treat everybody else. That's what you have to do. You can't come and talk unity and talk friendship with me. And that's the way you're treating my people. Some of them is not even my people. Some of them you just think is my people. And that's how you're treating them. So while your people could come and bring in something in cess, and within 2 twos, the following week, they get in check. Not that they call in them and check them, you know. They get in check, they get in the check for the thing. But other people, months, they can't even get a call back. They can't even get a call back. And I don't blame the pre-existing staff at CES. You have some wonderful people there. But when you take 2 executive members of the National Democratic Congress, one a sitting senator, and put them in charge of CES, it's obvious that it's only a political people you're looking out for. You put 2 gatekeepers to make sure it's only NDC could enter and NNP must flee. When you take your treasurer of the NDC and put them in charge, and when you take your former candidate, your caretaker for St. Mark, your senator, and put them, it is obvious that the 2 gatekeepers you put at the gate is to make sure only NDC people pass in under CES and NNP people cannot pass. You shall not pass. That is what they're doing. Yeah, watch Lord of the Rings too. That's what they're doing. And then, folks, we're still waiting to hear what's the salary of certain people. Yeah? We are kind of interested because a kind of incomplete list was sent because afterwards we find out Django was getting 4,500 plus concession on vehicle and thing. We find out that about Ian Django Thomas from Grenville St. Andrew. We find out that about him. I think he was living in Springs or Belmont or somebody for a while. Yeah. Springs and Belmont is my area. That's where I'm from, my neighbor String Day. Right? So if I know he was getting 4,500 plus other emoluments, concession on vehicle and this and that and the other. Right? We still don't know what the press secretary. Okay, you might have to ask the RGPF to put out a notice to find out if Grenada really has a press secretary. I hear certain things, but we might have to put out a press release. Yeah, let them send out something that we're searching for the press secretary. We don't know where they are. We need to find them. Yeah, we might have to do that. Right? Because you can't hear what the press secretary doing. And you also, look. The biggest joke, they had a national address a few months ago. Not a radio station, a TV station, anybody getting national address, The only time Grenadians know it had a national address is when it was released on social media. Since the days of Sir Eric Matthew Gary and probably whoever was the governor before them, I never hear of a national address like that. It just appear on social media. And then media people say, wait, it have a national address? No announcement that a national address was coming, no nothing. Just, whoops, national address on social media. Yeah? That's the kind of thing that has been going on. But we have a press secretary. I hear they're getting 10,000 plus or 10,000. I want to know if they're getting a 100% concession or 50% concession. Next thing you know, they're getting living quarters too, We don't know, so we want to know. I'm not saying that is what happening. I'm not alleging that is what happening. I say next thing is that happening and we don't know, so we want to know. Tell us. Next thing, the press secretary getting living quarters too. So we don't know. Because we seen all kind of thing, them man getting concession on vehicle and all kind of thing that we didn't know. One ministry having 2 advisors, we didn't know. So now we want to know. Because under the NNP used to know. Yeah. Used to know. So we want to know. Right? So it's very important that we find out. And folks, when we find out, we'll make sure and bring the information to you right here on Talking Points. Folks, that's about all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. Yeah, let me make sure and set up my thing properly here, you understand? Yeah, that's about all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow night, God's willing, between the hours of 8 to 10. Make sure and tell your friends, tell your family to get ready. Yeah, to get ready. Nice? Tell your friends, tell your family that Talking Points is going to be on tomorrow night. Folks, it's been wonderful being here with you. It's now 10 o'clock on the Spice Isle of Grenada. I'm Sheldon Scott and I am out of here. Again, say a special prayer for the workers at Marketing and National Importing Board. Because think of it. Think of you going to work every day knowing that the possibility is that is your last day of work. Because you already know that some people go in. All right? Think of how they're feeling. Say a special prayer for them when you pray tonight. Folks, that's all the time we've got today. Whatever you say, whatever you do it safe and secure. You want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. Love each and every one of you.
calculations done, because all men know that no man knows